I eat it like by the tub, and I have so many recipes that I've made using it. So yeah, I always have at least like 8 tubs in the fridge. Otherwise, it's an emergency.
Welcome back to Sprung On Food, an interview-based show where the overall topic of conversation is food. I'm your host, Kae Sprung. This season, I'm talking to food content creators, and my next guest is Angie Daubermann, also known as the Lean Girl. Let's get into the show. Angie is the founder of the Lean Girl Health and Fitness brand. She's a qualified, evidence-based health and fitness coach on a mission to preach the unsexy, honest truth about losing fat while building leaner, stronger, and fitter bodies. Ange, welcome.
Oh, hey. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to share our passion for food.
Likewise, we have so much to talk about, and I'm especially excited too because you are officially my first international podcast interview. So that's
Oh,
yes, I know. So this is one for the books and very fun. And then, spoiler, you are a friend of mine. So it was also nice to be able to facilitate that. You are dialing in from South Africa, and it's not a secret because I know you. You are very proud and open about this on your socials that you are a cottage cheese lover. In South Africa, though, I think you guys have a smooth cottage cheese, which I see in a lot of your videos, which I don't think that we have here. Are there any other foods that you know of in South African grocery stores that the United States doesn't have the privilege of housing on our shelves?
so let's first talk about the cottage cheese because
We
we are
can.
in like a serious relationship. Like I
Yes.
eat I eat 1, maybe 2 tubs a day because I have
Now, how big is a tub?
a
Like,
tub is like
what size?
250 grams. I don't know how many ounces that is.
Oh,
I think it's like
okay. That sounds like very reasonable to me though. Like that doesn't sound like I mean to me. That doesn't sound crazy, but
like, well, I guess people used to use it more of like a spread. They used to use it more like, in smaller quantities, maybe like a tablespoon or 2. So I eat it like by the tub, and I have so many recipes that I've made using it. So yeah, I always have at least like 8 tubs in the fridge. Otherwise, it's an emergency. So love the cottage cheese trend because it's low calorie and high protein. But yes, a lot of people complain that they don't get the smooth version. But a hot tip is you can just like blitz the hell out of it in your blender, and then you can get that sort of whipped, more light, creamy, smooth cottage cheese if you like. It's something new that I've been using my cottage cheese for, which I don't know if I'm sure you've seen it because it's all over America, is the Ninja Creamy, that ice cream maker.
ooh. I mean, I saw it from your content, but before that, I'm trying to think. I maybe it just hasn't the algorithm hasn't hit for me with that particular product. I guess I'm not looking at that kind of thing. So I haven't seen it. You introduced it to me. So thank you.
I like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a new thing I'm making with cottage cheese is now cottage cheese ice cream, which is amazing.
Okay, so it is okay. So where do I start? So one, is it actually very good? Because I recently saw a well, not super recent, but a little while ago, I saw a social media video from Trader Joe's, and they were doing a cottage cheese ice cream kind of like video and recipe. It looked interesting, but I couldn't be really sure about what the consistency and texture like, taste-wise, I think fine. I could imagine fine, great. But what is the texture and consistent does it get icy because it doesn't have that much fat in it? Or is there a tip to
So that
making
is
it smoother and creamier?
I think that is like their whole selling point is that you honestly can put the likes of a protein shake, which is almost no fat. And I think it does taste better, like the more fat you have in it. So if you had to use like full fat milk with your protein shake or with your whey, like it definitely has more richness. But even an almond milk protein shake, it's creamy, which blows my mind because when you actually freeze it, so you get this little tub and you put whatever you want in it, you pop it in the freezer. So this was another thing that it has to be frozen for 24 hours. So you can't on the fly think I'm going to make ice cream real quick. You have to
Right.
prep it and freeze it in advance. So when it comes out the freezer, it is a rock solid, like icy chunk, like in there. And then it must be the most amazing blades in there that just creamifies it in probably 3 minutes.
Oh, wait, so you freeze it, take it out, and then
And then you pop it on the
blend it?
machine, and then it blitzes through that. And then you can also add mix-ins. So they've got a mix-in. So let's say you also then wanted to add some like cookies or some nuts or whatever, then you chuck those in and then it blends that into the ice cream as well. But you could totally, like, I've seen the stuff on your page is so beautiful and decadent. I'm sure you could go to town with the most decadent ice cream as well. But I think people are loving it because you can make the likes of sorbet or protein ice cream, etc.
How they're positioning it is they'll, blend because we're not as blessed to have smooth cottage cheese like you are. They'll blend the cottage cheese in a food processor and then, put in their mix-ins, whatever, into a vessel like a loaf tin or something like that. They'll pop that in there, put it, a little plastic on top, put it in the fridge, and then they're scooping it. And that's where I don't believe that it's going to be great because I'm like, it
Mm-mm.
cannot be icy. But the fact that you just said you prepare it, whatever, freeze it, then take it out and then blend, that to me is the genius part that I'm thinking, yes, that makes sense and that makes it more palatable. The other way, I just don't know.
I also don't think so. I actually often see things on Instagram and I think to myself, there's no way. Like people do insane things for views. And I think a lot of the time it's really not either the ingredients that they're saying or I mean, I'm in the low calorie, high protein space and someone will have their giant like smash burger that they're saying is like 400 calories, but there's cheese that's oozing out of every corner of it. And I'm like, there's just no way. Like, there's no way that that is like 10 grams of cheese or whatever you've said you've used. But people are tweaking things to make it look more delicious.
Yeah, to your point, there are so many of these like clickbaity type of videos out there. I think that's why too there are a bunch of creators or people that have almost built their entire platforms and content around trying other people's viral recipes. They'll be like, "Does this really work? Is this really good?" And giving because I think that's for the public. That's for the
Yes.
people where they see these kind of recipes and maybe on paper, like how many of these have there been? Do you remember this is not a new one, but it's not too long ago. It was the cloud bread. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember
Cloud
the cloud
bread.
bread. Yeah,
It's just like the
it's an omelet.
it's a flavorless, like very airy, dry omelet. But it looked so cool. People were like, you can make it different colors and all this stuff as if it was like, a kid's play project or something. And and then I think it wasn't until some regular people who had no skin in the game, right? Like they're not dependent on views or metrics. They were just like, I just want to see, like, is this actually good or not? And it was like so nice to see regular people out there trying it and being like, guys, like you can make it if you want, but
It's not
it's not all it's
not all
cracked up to
that.
be.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually love those reaction videos so much of because I actually think that that's what people are moving so much more toward now is they want the realness. They want, like, I even find on Instagram, like the really highly produced content, the performance is never as good as like the girl in her kitchen, like just trying out something randomly and it turns out really good. So even in my own content, I've actually tried to be more, yeah, more real, less edited. Like this is how I'm whipping it up now. Whereas previously I may have really faffed around getting the perfect angle or the perfect shot. Now it's just, okay, I'm making this for lunch. Let me show you what I'm making.
It is a very fine balance, I guess, because you do want to produce and put out content that is visually appealing and nice because you are trying to engage with people to get them to make these recipes or provide inspiration for them. But you also don't want to do the disservice of it's like that Instagram versus reality whole meme thing that's started and still exists today, I'm sure, where, it's like here's the marketing angle of it to try to, hook and entice you. But then, oh no, this is what it looks like when you actually make it. It's so disappointing. How do you kind of balance between that, making it still look great enough, but also kind of keeping it real and not saying, "Oh, this is highly produced. I took it off camera and like zhuzhed it up and all these things." Is it kind of doing it all in one take? Is it just finding some kind of balance? Like, how do you personally do that?
So I really I don't think that my content looks highly produced, but I make sure I have great lighting. I make sure that the space that I'm using looks really clean and beautiful. And I have like a high-end camera. Most of the time I actually use my phone because it's just so convenient to just prop it up. And with the likes of Instagram, which is my primary platform, the content doesn't need to be that high quality. Like the phone is generally enough.
Yeah.
Then I think because the style and my community are home cooks, so it's people that want it to look like, okay, I could make that instead of
Mhm.
so many details, so many ingredients. Everything that I make, I'm like, I have boxes that it needs to check. So it has to be low calorie, high protein. It has to be really simple. So the average girl, when she gets home from work, she's not like, damn, like there's no way I can make that. It has to be something that anyone could say, cool, I can get it. And then just using regular grocery store ingredients that are not complicated or hard to find. And of course, it must taste delicious as well. So yeah, I try and have the combo. How my content has changed though is things are so much faster. Like I used to show
Mm.
every step. Now it's like you can show like a split second of a step and already people are bored. So
Right.
it's been a challenge to try and just keep up with that pace with still showing the detail of what you're actually doing. Because yeah, the way that things are now, I mean, I see recipes that are like 6 seconds online, like the steps that
6
people are
seconds. Like, this
making.
is like the era of old school Vine again, where it's like
It's
you have to did you ever do Vine back in the day?
I never did mine.
Ah,
I was on YouTube, and I actually used to do all my recipe content on YouTube, and I would stand and I would explain, and like that could be a 15-minute video. Like now there's just
right.
no way that people would be watching me for that long. I mean, maybe I need to get more entertaining, but yeah.
No, no, we can talk very much in depth about how you are very entertaining, but I'm curious, do the wait, 6-second recipe? How does that what's the strategy behind that to loop the video for people to keep watching it because they're like, "Wait, I didn't get that?" Is, for
Exactly.
people to do it? Is that
I
what it
think that
is? I don't know.
I think that's a strategy that a lot of people are like, you don't even realize that the recipe is finished and then it's back to the beginning, and then that's how
Right.
people get views. But personally, I'm like, I'm
Mm,
all for strategies and tactics, but I also am like, I actually really want people to make this. So I'm not going
yes,
to use a strategy just to confuse people and get views. So I try and find a
right.
balance by saying, okay, cool, maybe I can make my videos faster, but not take them to the extreme where, yeah, you can't even see what's happening.
How do you personally do that? Keep track and see what these kind of trends are and see which ones feel like, oh, these are ones that I can adapt and work with. Like you mentioned, shaving off some of the steps, because I think I used to definitely do that too. I was like, let's make this very comprehensive. I'm going to make these cookies and I'm going to show you creaming the butter and sugar. And like a lot of people are like, girl, I don't need to see that. Like, I don't care. Like, just show me like the cool. How do you decipher in your mind? What are the points to cut out, or what trends or different suggestions of what to post, how long to post? How do you filter that out?
So over the years, like I definitely haven't done this before. So if anyone's like a new content creator, it probably wouldn't be this in depth. But on a weekly basis, review my content. I look at the performance of it. and I will literally see because the Instagram stats, I'm just using Instagram as an example, but all of the social platforms, like the stats are incredible. So they will show
Mm,
you how many people viewed it, how many were a new audience, how many were your current audience, and then the ones that do perform really well, I will try and decode. Okay, that one had a really good hook. So this is a hook that I would then use again. You know, if I started the video by saying, you know, if your goal is to lose fat, then okay, people that clearly my audience resonated with that. So I'll try and use that again. And then when it comes to like viral trends and audios and things like that, because I plan my stuff in advance, like unless it's something that really stands out to me, or yeah, unless it's something that I'm inspired to create based on something that I've seen, I try not to be just too trend based. So
mm.
I think it's a bit of a mix. I also have this underlying feeling of like I don't want to be like everyone else. So I feel like in a world where I mean, you spoke about the algorithm, but I think we all start getting shown the things that we're looking at more and more and more. And then it can feel like, oh my word, like this is what the whole world is doing. And this is what I also should be doing. And then I feel like you kind of lose a bit of yourself. Well, you could, you could lose a bit of yourself and your own uniqueness if you are just hopping on every trend and now switching it up and now changing it up and using the same song that the last 40 people have also used. So I feel like there is a balance, and I think you do need to I would say you should probably be about 70% of you and then 30% hopping on the trend to your advantage.
That is such an excellent point too, because you well, first of all, I think that people really value, for the most part, I know it's the ever buzzing word of authenticity, but truly, like, people, they are able to build community and build their audience based off of what I would hope and think who they are. Maybe I think for some people, they see other creators who are doing something and thinking, wow, it's going really well for them. Let me hop on that because this is the format that's working. And then it becomes, to me, as a consumer of it, a very saturated space. And then it becomes, what's the differentiation between this person versus that person? Do I want to follow all these people who are doing kind of a very lateral move and the same different thing, unless they're just doing it for, like we talked about before, views, and thinking,
Right?
okay, well, maybe the algorithm will help me out and boost some views, and then maybe I'll get some followers from that. But it is so true, too, that that's how the algorithm works. And it can become a very kind of insular world in a way where you just keep seeing the same things. Sometimes I'll get in my For You on TikTok a video of somebody and they're talking about, well, you guys have probably all heard about blah, blah, blah already. And I was like, no, what are you talking about? It's because in whatever space they're interested in or
In their
following,
world.
it that
Mm.
whole community too is all on board with that. It may be like a hair trend or something, which I don't follow those kind of accounts. So I'm just using that as a weird example. So, okay, sure, maybe you guys know about this, but I have no idea. So that makes perfect sense too, is that it really feeds into, what people are consuming, and then they'll just keep getting fed that, and that feels like this is the whole world. And then you talk to somebody else and they're like, I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
I
Like, I
know
don't know who
it.
this creator is. I've never heard of this trend. It's
The the
it's a lot to
algorithm
keep up with.
is the algorithm is crazy. Do yourself a favor. The next time you're with a friend, go onto their Instagram. It will feel like a totally different app. Like I would go onto like my husband's. I'm like, what is this? Like
Really?
it looks so different because it's completely like and like some people they're so into quotes, like everything is quotes. Then but exactly. So you feel like whatever you're watching, the whole world. That's why I'm like, oh, you've seen the Ninja Creamy. And then you're like, no, I have not. It's
Yeah, and
yeah, yeah.
you would think though, because I am in a food space though, but there are probably so many different interesting devices out there and gadgets and kitchen tools that maybe I would have, but I guess my passion for those types of machines is not as large to where social media didn't think that I should see it. But at the end of the day, I did see it from you. So that's
You saw it.
that's something.
You saw
So
it.
yeah, so I saw it, which is the main takeaway. But that's such a cool experiment for people to do, to to swap phones with somebody that they're with, whoever it is, and see what things are coming up in their Explorer or their For You, and how vastly different it can be. Which, I mean, makes complete sense, but I never thought about it until you just said it, and that's such a cool little social experiment to try, just to see,
Yeah.
because it does kind of take your mind out of the place that it, usually sits in for a while, and then maybe even confuse the algorithm. I don't know, have you ever done that by putting in, like, random things to search so that it doesn't just keep giving you the same exact stuff? I've never
I
done that,
have
but now I'm
tried
thinking I
I
should
have
try that.
actually I've tried to become more intentional about searching people. Like, let's say I love Mel Robbins. I don't know if you know her. She's does podcasts, and I find her very motivational. I love her. So, like, I would search her and like go and look at her content, and then I would be strategic about searching things that are not food and fitness related. Because at some points, like basically my whole Instagram is girls with amazing bums, like crazy abs, and then like low calorie food. That's basically what
Right.
I get. I'm like, I need some substance. I need something else in this world. So I have tried to add more things. Sometimes I remember once I was explaining to my mother, I was like, Mom, do you know that some people are obsessed with pimple popping? Like,
Ugh, no, I
I'm like,
can't, I
do you
can't, I
know,
can't, I
I'm
can't.
like, do you
That is the
know that
most
there
vile thing.
I'm like, "Do you know that there
Ooh,
are videos that people watch about pimple
there
popping?"
shouldn't
And
be.
she's like, "No way." So I searched this on my algorithm. I could not get it off
Bleh.
for weeks.
Bleh. I do not feel I feel so like,
No,
oh,
it's
I'm
horrendous.
sorry for that experience. That is very traumatic. I could literally never engage with something like that, or like search it, because I would have very strong visceral reactions every time. Like that in particular that you said, that I can there wasn't there a show about it or something? I
I think
cannot
there was.
understand how many, sorry, people out there, but how many sickos there are out there that they're like, this is what I would like to spend my free time watching. What the hell?
I know.
Dude,
No,
go
it's
touch some grass, get a hobby, go foster a puppy. I don't know, because that to me, man alive. But there is something for everybody, because there was a show, maybe it still exists, called Taboo. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It
I
it may
haven't.
just be a show in the States. I'm not sure, but it would uh it, it was in the vein of a reality show, because it would follow a particular subject, and display, and, for lack of a better word, like, expose their fixation, or their compulsion, or the thing that they, like, really like to, because I remember there was one, and it was like a lady, and she ate cat hair. Like, she would, like, groom her cat and eat the cat hair. So, like, there's something for everybody
Oh
out
my
there,
god.
truly. So,
People
yeah,
I
don't
I
start putting that into your search engine.
What fascinates me is how they come to this realization that this is what they like. Like one day, are you just stroking your
Mm.
cat? You're like, you know what?
That's
Let me just
literally how it happens.
wow.
It's it's just trial and error. Yeah, something just strikes. I mean, there is some degree, of course. I'm not a licensed professional. I really don't want to speak out of turn, but I think that there is some degree of chemical imbalance that says, I know that I should not be ingesting this, but I'm going to do it anyway, because it gives me some kind of satisfaction,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
chemical release that I'm looking for. So I mean, it's a whole psychological thing too, because the average neuronormative person is not going to say cats groom themselves, and they cough up, but that's the thing, right? They cough up
circles.
the hairballs. They don't
Yeah.
they don't keep it down there. But so
I will
maybe don't
so
do that.
I will tell you something weird. Like I have the strongest stomach ever. Like I could probably eat almost anything. Like,
Ooh, like an
I don't
iron
know
stomach.
about cat hair, but I was recently in
Please don't try.
Asia. I was recently in Asia, in Thailand, and unfortunately, it wasn't like peak season. So they didn't have all the street food in the area that we were staying in. And I honestly wanted to eat bugs. So, they have like fried, like tarantulas and scorpions and like,
Oh,
do you remember that
yeah.
that show Fear Factor?
Yes,
Like, if you put me on that show and it was up to eating like a hissing cockroach, I would win.
you would do
Like,
it.
I could do that.
God bless you. I could not. I would start gagging, I think. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. You
I have a
should
strong
you should
stomach.
enter, if I don't know if that maybe we should reboot that show just for you to be on there and win.
I'm
You could
there.
do great.
I'm there. I
Okay.
don't know what
Okay,
other
amazing.
weird things I have to do. I might fail, but if it's the eating, they used to, what did they do? Like bull's testicles.
Oh, listen, there probably a little bit of everything on there, but that would be no fear for you. You could do it and you could dominate and win.
No
What a
fear.
strong suit.
I have a strong
Wow.
stomach. Okay,
That's a good party trick.
one thing that I could not eat is, what
Okay.
is that? Durian fruit. Have you had durian fruit?
I have had durian.
Did you
I'm
like it?
shocked that that's the thing that you said you could not have, but a hissing cockroach is like a
It's
cocktail party for you.
it's the after effects. I tasted garbage
What's the
in my
after?
mouth
Oh,
for
okay. So you did try it.
hours.
Okay.
I tried it. I did try
Yeah.
it, and it was even in a cake. So I was like, "Wow, this can't be that bad," but it's garbage to me. It's not good.
So the funny thing is that's the application that I tried it in too. It was a dessert. So it was kind of like a cake pudding kind of a thing. And the first thing I wanted to do was smell it because I know that it can just if you up and now I didn't get to open up the fruit as it is because that can I hear knock people's socks off. And so I was very curious about that. So I did get a bit of the aroma from it, not pleasant. It shocks and amazes me that it is a very, very popular food though,
Yeah, it's
for a lot of
everywhere.
regions. And
Everywhere in
and
Asia.
it's impressive to me because I'm like, I secretly want to say like, blink twice if you're okay. Like, do you have a choice in eating this durian? Because it to me, I don't but that's taste. It is totally subjective. I personally didn't get the appeal. I didn't like the taste, even in a beautiful, delicious pastry on its own, mixed in with that. I was not a
Yeah,
fan. But I'm
couldn't be
glad I could
saved.
check it off my list. And I would 1000% over go for that again versus somebody being like, "Eat this roach." So, good on you, man, because yikes. There's so many misconceptions about food and fat loss, and I know that this is your specialty. Are there any major ones that you can dispel?
So, yeah, this is probably one of my favorite topics because with the likes of social media, there's more information and more confusion than ever.
Yes.
And one of my core values is actually simplicity, and it's something that I always do throughout my whole life. And so, like, that is why it's been my mission to try and take something that is backed in science. So everything that I teach, like, you can't just take opinions of Susan who tried to eat 4 apples a day and she lost weight, and now that's the next strategy you're going to try. So I always go back to, like, what is the latest research saying? And therefore it's never my opinion, which I also like because then I can change it. So I'm just saying, guys, this is what the research says. So I think one of the biggest things when it comes to food and fat loss is, firstly, people feel like they need to be suffering in order to lose fat. Like, they feel like for them to take massive action means that they need to feel deprived, they need to feel hungry, they need to be cutting everything out, and then that will result in them getting results. So that's probably the biggest one. And then the second one is that a lot of people confuse making healthy choices and making choices that are good for fat loss. So there's a lot of foods that are
Mm.
super nutritious. So the likes of olive oil, of avocado, of nuts. And so often people will be eating processed foods, chips, chocolates, or whatever. And then they'll be like, no, I'm not going to have any sugar. I'm just going to switch over to all healthy foods. But at the end of the day, it's still about energy balance. So good old, you have to create a calorie deficit. And if you don't do that, you're still not going to get the fat loss results. So, and that goes back to my first point as well, to say you actually don't have to eat awfully bland chicken, broccoli, rice in order to get results. As long as you understand that energy equation and you can tick that box. Of course, there are 4,000 other reasons to also eat nutritious food. I mean, in a calorie deficit context, you can eat so much more food if you're eating low calorie, high volume foods, the likes of vegetables and chicken, and you also need micronutrients and all those good things. But if you miss that equation altogether, your strategy is gonna fall flat. So if I ever tell people, if you just had to focus on one thing, I'm talking about simplicity. If you can just nail that budget analogy that your body is burning X amount of calories per day, and to balance that with how much you're putting in, it really becomes that simple.
And that too, I think, is what also makes your programming sustainable and attractive, because that's the thing too. And it's something that you talk about too on your socials, which is it's not about having these little bird portions of things. It's not about feeling hungry that equates to success. And like you said, like starving and depriving yourself. I think that a lot of times it's just human nature to really want that instant gratification and that quick fix, and not understanding that this needs to be a way of life, and because then it's not going to be sustainable. And I'm sure you get feedback and hear these things from your community too, which I am curious about how you, I mean, because I think that this is such a big popular topic. So I'm not surprised that the community is not out there, but there is, to your point, a lot of noise out there with these quick fixes or over information or misinformation. How do you think that you were able to start building your community?
So when I started, I actually started sharing from my own experience and from my own journey of, so I actually was pretty overweight when I was a kid, and I dieted for more than a decade and really struggled with my weight. I was really overweight. I also went through it all. So I think that's why I can also understand where my community is at and talk to them on a level of like, I've been there, I get it. Like I know that this sounds so counterintuitive to what you think you should be doing. So yeah, when I started, I really started off small, and I started just sharing things that I was learning, sharing some content online, and I've been building my community for the last 5 years. So it has been a long and slow process, but because I just love it and it's what I do on my everyday, it has become quite easy to share that. So it doesn't always feel like content. It just feels like, okay, I'm sharing what I'm doing, what I'm learning about my life. And I do think in in this space, people are looking for community. They're looking for to go somewhere where they feel understood. They are looking to go to someone to be like, clearly what I'm doing is not working. Like there's so much frustration, there's so much hopelessness, and there's a lot of loneliness as well. Like everyone feels like they're silently struggling. And sometimes when you're like, you know what, this is really normal. This is what restrictive dieting does to you. This is how we got here. And there is hope. There is hope, and there is another way to do it. I think then you start attracting people who want to come together and say, you know what, we don't want to do this anymore, and there is a better way. So it has been beautiful to see how people also bring other people in, because
Mm.
I don't know a woman. I don't even know if I could count on my hand. Like most women struggle with their weight or with nutrition at some point in their lives. So I really think it's something worthwhile understanding and mastering yourself.
And you do an excellent job of that, and you are very transparent. And I think that too, for me, it's not hard to understand why people would be attracted to your content and your programming, because it does come from that place, and you are open about it, and it creates that safe space and relatability too. Because I think what happens a lot of times is people will see let's take Hollywood, for example, where a lot of times people are not, and they don't have to be totally transparent about what they do, and the fact that they might have a everyday nutritionist, that they have a 5-day a week or more personal trainer, that they have access to all of these things that can then translate, or they're just not practicing good healthy measures to just create a facade and an image. And the average person, which far outweighs the top elite and celebrities, see these things, they feel badly about themselves, they feel that it's unattainable, they don't know what to do, they may try what they think that that celebrity said that they do, not understanding the full gravity of what they actually do. And
Right.
so it's these spaces that you create that are real spaces with tangible, factual, you know, things that are presented in a much more sustainable way. And also, I think preaching too that it is a process, that you're not going to get overnight results. And you show all of that too throughout your journeys. Do you ever personally feel a pressure to show up in any sort of way?
So, just to address your earlier point, something that I also really try to do is to make the content fun, because it's such a heavy topic for so many people, and they just feel like when they just think diet or fat loss, they're like, ugh, like I don't even wanna. So I try and bring like a lightness to it to be like, you know what? Doesn't have to be so hectic. Like, here's a fun recipe. Just try that out. Like, there's just one step that you can take. Like, it doesn't have to be so hectic. So that's also something that I try and do. And I think what has helped to bring more people in, because they feel like, okay, I can do it, you know. But to your second point, so I think it has been, at some points I have felt like, who am I to teach this? Or is my body like good enough for people to look at me and be like, oh, wow, yeah, I want to be like her? Or like, do I have to be perfect for them to feel like I'm worthy of teaching this stuff? So I definitely have had moments where I've felt like that. But I feel like as I have matured and shown up more and more as authentically as I can, while still not spilling all my shit on the table, because I also think there is a lot of that online where people, they will just let it all out, and then like they will get attention from that, and then they feel like, okay, I need to do more of that. Where personally, like, I don't feel like I want to create drama, create like hecticness. Like, there's still a line for me with what I would share online and what I feel like I want to keep personal. Like, my what I put out there, the purpose and the intention of that is to inspire people, and it is to help them. So if I'm sharing something and it aligns with that intention, then I'm open and happy to share that and to find the lesson in it and to go forward. But I don't just go on to complain or to be like, woe is me, or like life is, I feel like, no, like there's enough of that, that I don't need to sort of partake in that. But I do feel like showing up and being authentic with struggles, there's a huge need for people to be validated and to know that no one is friggin' perfect. I definitely am not always perfect all the time. Like, I definitely overeat sometimes. I can also skip some gym, like totally normal. And the expectation is not that you're going to be ticking all the boxes all the time. So I also share that, because that's reality. So I do try and have a mix of the two.
Which I think is super important and also kind of leans into something else that I was thinking about, and something you had mentioned earlier on that I did promise we would get back to, which is your humor. If I'm sure everybody on your channel and on your socials, they already know. But if anybody has not seen, they have to get familiar, because I find you hilarious. I think you are so funny. Your humor is so witty and quick and creative. And you do offer a lot of videos, which is such a refreshing thing, because I think when maybe you would just tell a person, oh, my focus is on health and fitness, they'd be like, oh, okay, so probably serious stuff or maybe some cool recipes, whatever. But then you inject these videos of kind of a la sketch comedy. And you have one in particular that I love. It's the hormonal hall pass video. It feels very like old school infomercial-y, tongue in
Exactly.
cheek. And it's so brilliant and so funny, and then does bring that realness into it, like you just said, that you are allowed some grace. You do not have to be strict and perfect every single day. It's not reasonable, it's not human, it's not normal. When did you start infusing some of these comedy videos into your content, and what was the motivation, and how do you think of them? They're so clever to me.
Thank you. That, to be honest, they are one of my favorite videos to film. So I
More
still
please, more please.
I try and put them into the mix. So I actually started when Reels and TikTok, I think was it actually before like the lockdown moment? But I
Mm.
feel like when it started coming out and like you could use different templates and doing a lot of the voiceover kind of things, I started playing around with those and I just found them so much fun to create. And whenever I saw like a sound that I could use that would relate to health and fitness and like the struggles that we go through, I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. And my poor husband honestly had to sometimes go through it because if you've ever tried to do the voiceover, like the timing has to be perfect or you look like a fool. Like it has to be, I'll be
Yes.
like, just one more time, just one more time. I'm almost there, like
Yeah.
memorizing the lyrics to the T. So I just started creating them and now I do a lot more of my own where I'm doing my own kind of voiceovers. And every time if I think about something like on my phone, I've got many, many lists of all ideas that I want to do and content. So as soon as like let's say I'm in the gym and something funny happens and I'm like, oh my gosh, this happens to me all the time. Like I'm sure it's not just me. And then I'll try and think of a skit that I could create that people would relate to. So it's often just me going through my day and being like, "Oh my God, this is so ridiculous. Like I'm sure this is not just me. I've got to share it."
And the people have to love it, right? Like these people, like I hope, do you get feedback from your followers and community? Like this is amazing, this is hilarious, this is so true.
The girls love it. I won't say that
Yeah.
everyone, like sometimes in my mind it's been funnier and the execution hasn't been there, but that's also social content. Like sometimes I think something will be like it will not go off well and then it explodes. Like, I don't know if you saw the one where this actually goes back to eating weird things, but I was
Oh,
like, when you realize that Fluffy's lunch has 40 grams of protein, and then I have like a can of dog food that I'm like considering eating because as you know, fitness people are like obsessed with protein. And so that video, when I posted it, I was like, haha, it's so funny. And then like it actually didn't perform that well. 2 weeks later, I think it got like 3 million views of me eating this
whoa.
pretend eating this dog food. Because no everyone wanted to know, did I really eat the dog
Like, did
food?
she do it?
Did she actually do it? Because it cuts and then I do put it in my mouth, but actually, low key, no one knows this. So only heard on this podcast ever because I never
Exclusive,
admitted
exclusive.
whether I ate the dog food or not, but I actually made a little bit of cereal and I put it on the spoon, even though it was like in the dog food container. So when I ate it, it looked like the dog food, but it was not actually the dog food.
Ooh, clever. Would you, I mean, but we know how adventurous you are now. Would you ever try it? The real thing?
I would probably taste a little. I'm sure it's just kind of like beefy. Like, I
Listen, if
don't
you would
think,
eat a roach, I'm surprised you wouldn't eat a little bit of dog food.
yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I would definitely try it. I would definitely
New
try
piece of
it.
content coming soon.
Yeah, the real deal. Let me give you a brief
Yeah.
on how dog food
You
tastes.
yeah, you like stitch it with your other piece of content and you're like, "Okay, guys, I wasn't honest with you, but now here we go, straight out of the can." That
Yes.
that could be that could be
I'm
6
liking
million
this.
views.
This is snowballing.
It's the content that nobody thought that they needed, but they
They
seriously
knew it.
do. Another thing that you do that I love are the swaps, and you'll show, and honestly, when I see these, it blows my mind every time in the best possible way. You will show two different options for a snack, a side by side, and compare the weight and the calories, and showing that you can have all of these incredible higher volume, lower calorie snacks by making these easy swaps. How do you come up with the different ones? Are these things that you are discovering in your day-to-day life? Are there people who may DM you or message in and say, "Oh, I really love this, but what's a good alternative?" How do you come up with all the different varieties?
So I think it's been a combination of finding swaps myself to be like, oh my God, I really love rice. Then we're like, okay, well, what would be similar? What is a similar texture? Okay, like maybe cauliflower rice could be an option. Like I'm just throwing
Mhm.
out ideas. So, and that I know is low calorie, higher volume. So it's just, I feel like calories is almost like a language that you begin to learn. So if you had to throw something out, like I can tell you the calories of almost anything. So how my brain works is when I think about something that is like decadent, I'll then think to myself, oh, like what is something else that I could have? So I think over time, it's just things that I've tried, like put into my diet that because I'm very hungry. Like I'm a hungry person. So I cannot eat small portions of food. So I'm always looking for
Same.
ways to like bulk it up. Like I need a big plate. Like I can't just have like a little morsel. Like, some people are like, "Here's my lunch," like a little cracker. I'm like, "Oh, wow."
I would love to just do a couple real rapid fires. Are you
Shoot,
game?
shoot.
Okay. All right, let's go. Best fat loss snack.
Best fat loss snack, cottage cheese.
I feel like I
Surprise.
have an idea of where maybe the rest of these questions will go. Best high protein snack?
Oh, I'm gonna give you a South African one, which is called biltong.
Mm,
Have you ever had it?
no.
Think
Is
beef
it what it sounds like?
think beef jerky, but like 1,000
Uh-huh.
times better. So it's
Okay.
just dried meat that is being like coated in delicious seasoning, but it's not processed at all.
Uh-huh.
So it's almost like think dried carpaccio. Like it's
Oh,
really good.
okay. Is it very
It's really
thin?
good. It's super thin.
Okay.
Mm.
Ah, okay. Well, I am vegetarian, so I probably won't ever try it, but I believe you. Best energy boosting snack?
Best energy boosting snack is probably dates. Dates are
Ah, I like
very high
that.
in energy and sugar and also have fiber. So it's a good combo.
Excellent. Favorite type of workout?
Weight training all day, especially bum day.
Okay. Least favorite workout?
Least favorite, I'm not a huge runner. I've tried. I've I've come to the conclusion that my arms and legs are just too gangly and too long that I just think I'm not built. I'm just not built for it. I'm not a
Listen, I
sexy
don't think
runner. It's not a
a lot of people are not. It's very harsh on the joints. I used to be a long distance runner and no more. And I don't feel badly about that. So you shouldn't either.
Let's go
Uh,
with that. It's bad for us.
yes, it's well, also don't take this as the gospel. We are not, professionals about running. Even though you are a fitness professional, but still, I'm covering your bases. That's our
Thank
disclaimer.
you.
We're sticking
Thank
to
you.
it. What is your favorite hormonal hall pass food?
Cheesecake. One if you give me a very beautiful, thick, like crusty base with a creamy cheesecake and then some caramel on top, like that would be my death row meal. Like if I was gonna die, I would eat that cake before.
Incredible. Let's hope you don't get there anytime soon. Uh, if cottage cheese did not exist, what would you do?
Wow. I would be really sad. I
Okay,
would be
just very sad.
I
That's
would
fair
probably
and
have to
that's
eat
honest.
I would have to replace it with Greek yogurt because no one's irreplaceable.
Okay. Cottage cheese, number one in your heart. Do you have any? I always try to plug people to get into merch because why not? Do you have any like cottage cheese loving like I heart cottage cheese merch or anything
I feel like that's the best idea you ever had.
like that? Okay.
I feel like I
Maybe
need to
this is
get that,
a
like,
collaboration.
on a
Okay.
T-shirt. Yeah.
Okay, we can talk offline about that. I've got
Exactly.
ideas. Okay, great. How can people follow and support you? Plug away.
100% get me on Instagram. That's where you'll find all my content, all my swaps. I also have some really fab free, like, I have a full calorie saving swaps shopping list, which I'm going to send you. So yeah, I have a like, I don't know, more than 100 items on there that you can swap and save calories with. So I've got that free on my Instagram page. So you can go and get that. And then my website is leangirlguide.com. And then you can check out all my programs. And I also have a really awesome low calorie, high protein recipe hub called the Kitchen Coach. So those are my plugs.
Incredible. And thank you so much for sharing your story and spending some time with me here today.
Thank you so much. It was so fab. And I just loved the conversation. I loved talking about all things food, and you just made it so fun and easy. And thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. You can find links and more info in the description below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. See you next time.